Hey guys, welcome back. Make sure that you watched yesterday's video because this is going to build off of that one, all right? Hopefully you're pros now at writing equivalent fractions because we're going to look at writing unit rates and unit costs. And actually what this involves is writing equivalent ratios, all right? So first thing I wanted to do was give you some definitions. Yesterday in the video I mentioned rate. Rate is a comparison of two unlike quantities. We call it a ratio if I'm comparing sneakers to sneakers, as I was in the first video. If you'll recall the second one, I compared two different things. So actually what I was doing there would be considered a rate. A rate is a type of ratio. I'm now comparing two different quantities instead of the same thing. So for example, in real life, where would you see this? Miles per hour. If you're driving, well, you're not driving. If your parents are driving, they're hopefully following the speed limit. That tells them how many miles they can go per hour. And actually that's a unit rate as well, which we'll talk about now. Unit rate is simply a ratio, technically a rate. Let me fix this. More specifically, it's a rate, obviously, because I've already said a rate is a specific type of ratio. It's a rate that is simplified to have a denominator of 1. So I'm comparing to 1 unit. So actually, miles per hour that I gave you as a rate is an example of a unit rate, to be specific. 40 miles per hour, if you see that as a speed limit, what it's telling you is that you're traveling at a rate of 40 miles in 1 hour. Meaning, if you drove for 1 hour, you would go 40 miles. Okay? So you'll notice that my second unit is 1. I'm comparing it to 1. So, for example, on a long trip, maybe you went 120 miles in 3 hours. Well, that means that you are driving at 40 miles per hour because we can reduce that to its unit rate to see how fast I was going per hour. Unit cost is basically the same thing as a unit rate, except now we're dealing with money instead. So I want to know how much it is per 1 unit of an item. So, for example, when you go to the big bulk stores, you might buy like 5 tubes of toothpaste together for $15. Well, how could I figure out what that cost me for each individual tube? That's where we would use a unit cost. We would write our ratio and then we would reduce it. Okay? So here, to calculate our unit rate or our unit cost, it's nice and simple. All I have to do is divide both numbers by my bottom number. And I'm going to call it my denominator because I'm going to set these up in fraction form. That's the way I like to write my ratios. So this is my example board here. So for example, this is a question where I'm asking you, what is the best buy? Meaning, which one gives me the cheapest buy? Which one is costing me the least amount for each DVD? So here's 3 DVD stores. Abe's DVDs sells 3 DVDs for $27.99. DVD Exchange sells 4 DVDs for $33. And DVD City sells 5 DVDs for $47.50. So I have 3 different stores I could shop from. And right off, it's not always really easy to see, oh, well, which one's the better deal? Because we're not looking at a unit cost. So what I want to do is I want to look at a unit cost. What we're going to do is we're going to write our rates. We're going to reduce them to figure out how much one DVD costs if you're purchasing them all together like this. So you'll notice the first thing I did over here is just wrote my rates. Money over DVDs, because I want to know how much it is for one DVD. So the DVD is going to go on the bottom, because that's what I want to reduce down to 1. So over here I had $27.99 for 3, $33 for 4, or $47.50 for 5. So I've just written the rates or the ratios. Then how am I going to determine what my best buy is? I'm going to reduce them, all right? And you'll notice that when we're dealing with ratios, sometimes we can have fractions or decimals in them, and that's fine. Sometimes that gets a little scary because you guys look at them as fractions. But don't let that throw you off. You can have a fraction within a fraction. You could have the decimal in it as well. That's fine. So how am I going to reduce this? Well, I want to get my bottom number to be 1. So to do that, I'm going to divide it by itself, because anything divided by itself is 1. So here, 3 is on the bottom. I'm dividing that by 3. Well, to keep this equivalent, because I still want the equivalent rate, I'm going to have to divide the top by 3 as well. And when I do that, when I divide $27.99 by 3, I get $9.33. So over here at Abe's DVDs, it cost me $9.33 per each DVD. So I got 3, I had to buy them together, but that means each one cost $9.33. So over here, we're going to do the same thing, except my bottom number was 4 DVDs. So to get 4, to make 4 into 1, I'm going to divide it by itself, because anything divided by itself is 1. So then, since I divide the bottom by 4, I need to do the same thing to the top. So when I divide 33 by 4, I get $8.25. So what I find is at DVD exchange, each DVD kind of breaks down to being $8.25 each. And finally, at DVD City, I could get 5 of them. So to get 5, make 5 into 1, I'm going to divide it by 5. Got to do the same thing to the top. So I'm going to divide 47.50 by 5. I get $9.50 per one DVD. So now looking at this, what's my best deal? Well, $8.25 is cheapest. So really, DVD Exchange, even though I'm getting 4 DVDs, sells them at the cheapest price per DVD. I'm not getting as many here, but I'm paying more per DVD down at this store. All right. So the unit rate tells me how much I'm paying per unit. So in this case, it was per DVD. So we'll do a few more of those. So here we want to find our unit rate or our best deal. So you'll notice on the first one, I've given you 2 different ones that we're going to compare. We're going to determine what our better deal is. So what I find up here is I can buy 7 tickets for $42.67. So whenever we're doing unit cost, the money goes on top, because I want to know how much it costs for 1 ticket. That's how we're going to reduce this. And I'm going to use my handy-dandy calculator to save us some time. So to get 7 to 1, I'm going to divide by 7, which means I need to divide 42.67 by 7 as well. When I do that, I'm actually going to wind up with a decimal that keeps going, but since we're dealing with money, I'm going to round it to the nearest hundredth. When I round it to the nearest hundredth, I'm going to wind up with $6.10. The decimal I get is actually 6.095. So that 5 tells me I need to round up, that 9 rounds up to a 10. So it would be $6.10 per 1 ticket. So let's see if 9 tickets for $63.18 is a better deal. So my tickets are going on bottom, my money's going on top. And remember, unit rate and unit cost, you got to figure out what is it that I want to know per one. I want to know per 1 ticket, not how many parts of a ticket can I get for $1. Okay, because obviously that's going to be a fraction of the ticket, and we can't buy parts of the ticket. So to get 9 to reduce to 1, I need to divide it by 3, which means I also need to divide, 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So I also need to divide 63.18 by 9 as well, which again I'm going to use my calculator. This one comes out even $7.02 per 1 ticket. So we've actually written both of these as a unit cost. $6.10 is the better deal. So this is the package that I want to look at, the 7 tickets for $42.67. It's actually cheaper to buy the tickets per ticket this way than this way. All right, and these are good to know because what I've seen most recently, my example, I went to the theater and it told me I could buy a popcorn for $4.50 and a soda for $4.50, or I could get the combo popcorn and soda for $9. Well, what you find is you're not spending any less money. It's not really a deal. They're still charging you the exact same amount. All right. So those are things you want to pay attention to. You don't want to get taken in by them. All right. Here we're going to write a unit rate. So it took me 70 minutes to stock 14 shelves. So first let me write my rate. 70 minutes per 14 shelves. I want to know how long it takes me to stock 1 shelf then, or an employee that I've hired to do this. So 14, I want to make it 1. I'm going to divide by 14. If I divide the bottom by 14, I need to do the same to the top. When I take 70 and I divide it by 14, I get 5. So my unit rate would be, it takes me 5 minutes to stock 1 shelf. Here, you don't drive yet, so this one's not real applicable to you, but if you see the price of gas, we want cars with good gas mileage. So we're going to see if this car has good gas mileage. I can go 140 miles on 4 gallons of gas. So what I want to do is I want to reduce this and figure out, well, what does that mean per 1 gallon of gas? Because good gas mileage means you're getting somewhere around 30 miles per gallon. So we want to see what kind of gas mileage this car has. So to get to reduce 4 to 1, I'm going to divide by 4. Once I've divided the bottom by 4, I need to do the same to the top. I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. And when I divide this, I get 35 miles per 1 gallon. This is excellent gas mileage. If you can find a car that goes 35 miles to the 1 gallon, you are doing great. So all we're doing is reducing it to a unit of 1 because it kind of helps clarify how much I'm actually getting that way. Again, if you have questions, you can post them in the comments. You can email me, and I will get to those in class tomorrow. You can even ask me then if you need to. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.